फ्यूचर फोकस बजट 2025 के इस एपिसोड में आज भारत के वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट सेक्टर्स के बारे में बात करेंगे, डिफेंस, द बैकबोन ऑफ इंडिया. Hello and welcome. My name is Shruti Sarkar and you're watching GoodReturns. India is advancing towards self-reliance, Atmanirbhar Bharat, in defense by focusing on domestic procurement, increasing investments in R&D and strategic public-private partnerships. And as the 2025-26 defense budget approaches, let's have a very candid conversation with Commander Navneet Kaushik. Hello, Navneet.
Hi. Good morning, Shruti.
Hi, good morning. Before we go ahead, a little bit about Commander Navneet Kaushik. He has experience of investments from Technology Department Board, a statutory body of Department of Science and Technology, which provides financial support to Indian companies. And prior to that, he has served in the Indian Navy and has extensive experience in project management, defense acquisition. Navneet, as the budget approaches, the market experts and everyone else is also looking at how the defense budget will be, defense allocation. In your view, what is the defense budget allocation looks like? What is the expectations? What is the overall expectations from the budget in the defense sector?
See, actually, defense, if you see the geopolitical scenario today, defense has become one of the most talked about topics and the hottest discussions right now. And it is a sector which requires a huge amount of investments, right? So here I have my heart says something and my mind says something else. So I would say from my heart, I think the defense budget should increase because we need a lot of money coming into the sector.
Absolutely.
Right? Because indigenous development and everything has to happen. But at the same time, my mind puts it differently because if you look at the committed liability, the contracts which have to come through, which have to be paid for, right? The countries which India is one of the largest importers, right? So most of this equipment comes through from either the Israel, Russia, or USA.
Absolutely.
Now, if you see geopolitical scenario today, all of them have been engaged within themselves. So that would have an impact on what are the allocations and whatever the requirements of the budgets are. But whichever way the budget goes, we don't have to be disappointed. If it goes like my heart says higher, more than happy, because that is the need for an hour. But more importantly, the indigenous requirement, the focus on indigenization has to be higher, and which government has been doing a lot about.
Right.
So I expect the budget to be, I hope the budget to be higher.
We all do. Last time budget spending for defense was around 5%. India is number 4 globally in defense spending. My next question to you is a follow-up question on that, because you spoke about the weapons that we buy from US or Russia. Now with Trump coming back to the picture, he's been the new president of the US and putting tariffs. Right now the focus is on China and Russia and Canada, but you never know when the focus will change. So what kind of boost we need, for the defense sector in your view to become Atmanirbhar?
So I think we need a lot of one part is the budget allocation, right? You can have the budget allocation, but at the end of the day, it's about the policies. How easy you make the policy for the industry to operate those policies, or for the government to be able to execute those policies and allow the budgets to be spent. A lot of times what happens is while the policies are in place, the budgets are not there, or the budgets are there and policies are not there. Now what I see that a lot of things are aligning. The policies are aligning vis-a-vis the budget allocation. And there is a clear understanding, I think, with the Indians, not only the government, but Indians per se on the civilian side as well, that we have to look after our own interests. We can't be dependent on any, whether it is Russia or China or for that, Israel, or for that matter, USA. We have to be self-reliant, and it's not out of out of arrogance or something. It's a need. Everybody has to be self-reliant. I'm not saying India has to be something special. Like you just mentioned Trump, make America great again. Why shouldn't India be looking at that? Why should we be any different? We have to be like everybody else. Everybody looks after their interests. We also have to look after our interests. And for that, the defense becomes a pivoting point. Because under the umbrella of the defense, you have the economic growth happening. And defense tech also results in the tech coming to the civilian ecosystem. Like a simple thing, if you look at GPS, right? It started as a defense tech. But look at the GPS's impact in our whole lives now. You talk about Swiggy, Zomato, Ola, Blue Smart. You take any aspect of life and tell me where it is GPS is not effective. Look at geospatial analytics, right? It started as a geospatial analytics started as an intelligence thing. But today, if you look at insurance sector, you look at agriculture sector, infrastructure monitoring, you name a sector where the geospatial analytics are not being used. A lot of what you can say spin-off of the defense tech comes into the civilian side. So we should not be looking defense expenditure in isolation. And going vice versa, if I go the other way around in the tech, I think pager was never a defense tech.
Now, Navneet, we spoke about Atmanirbhar Bharat, what we can do, defense allocation. Let's move forward. Our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken several times about, Viksit Bharat, when India will become a developed nation, and hopefully by 2047. A little bit of background, a little bit of context setting is our India as an economy. Okay, the GDP growth has slowed down to 5.4% in the previous quarter. Inflation is relatively up more than 5%. Cost of living in most urban cities, if I could say, is pretty high. Consumption has also taken a hit. Now, in this scenario, in your view, is it possible that we achieve that target? If not, then how do you view this entire situation? How can we, go back to double-digit growth, or actually reach a target of becoming a developed nation by 2047?
See, for Viksit Bharat for me is not what you can say stop target at 2047. We asked Viksit Bharat. For me, it's an ongoing journey. Even if you reach 2047, you'll still have an aim to go further up. What I'm looking for Viksit Bharat, what Honorable Prime Minister has said, okay, Viksit Bharat target is 2047, but we'll have some bad years, we'll have some good years. And today the world is not in isolation. The geopolitics, the global scenarios, the global conflicts are going to affect us, as we have seen in the past. Like oil prices going up affects everyone, right? The energy sector affects everyone. We can't be in isolation. So yes, there are times now, like you just mentioned, Trump coming into power. So there's a major shift which is likely to happen in the American ecosystem. Now, how that shift affects us, positively or negatively, is only time will tell. But I hope it will be positive, because even the China counterbalance is coming in.
Yes.
But again, having said that, China, I will not consider them as an enemy, but I'll consider them as a competition, right? And it's a positive way to compete. I have to look after my interest and they have to look after their interest. Coming to how can we accelerate growth, I think we have to look at tech, like what this government has been doing. And I'm saying from last 10-15 years, whatever we have seen, the focus towards the tech ecosystem, like digitization, it's changed the way things are done. Like Indian banking system, UPI, has changed the way we do banking. And I think we are one of the most advanced in this sector. But having said that, there are a lot of sectors which we are lagging, where we need to focus and government needs to come in. Typically, you look at social media, right? We have no social media, data control. Where are we with respect to that? So there's a lot of money which has to get in all spheres of tech. And that is where I feel government has to be more liberal about it, the less taxation probably towards the new tech, or tax holidays for some time, because you have to look at longer term. I understand government has a very difficult job cut out, because you have to look at long term and you have to look at the short term. First survivability, and then you have to look at how do I grow. So there's always a balance about. That's what I expect. Better tax structure, maybe a lower taxation for the time being, because that can spur the growth. The money is available, you can spur. And India is a domestic market. Where are we going to spend? We are only going to spend inside.
Right.
And that will spur the growth.
Good you spoke about social media, because before I let you go, I have I have a question for our, a lot of our viewers and users are Gen Z, people, Gen Alpha, in fact, who are, in college. Gen Z has slowly moved into the office. They've started working. Now, we see the only, I think, motivation of them to come online is to scroll through reels. Okay. It has come to this. Now, what are some of your suggestions, maybe advice for these people who should probably read a little bit more, and may not be about budget, but if they want to do wealth creation, basically how can they contribute to India's journey of becoming a Viksit Bharat?
Okay, thanks. I think this is one of the questions which I think I would have not answered had you not asked me. But see, we are being a bit more judgmental and harsh towards this generation. But trust me, this has happened with every new generation. They are not new, so they should not feel isolated about it. But having said that, if you see, today's generation has a lot of aspirations. While they may be going through a reels and all, the game has changed. Right? The amount of information which is available on the internet is phenomenal, which we never had an access to.
Right.
Today, I see at 20 years having an aspiration which I didn't have till maybe probably 2 years back. So I'm looking at a cycle cutting short by 20, 30 years. The aspirations of young India today they're just not looking to survive. They're looking to lead. They're hungry. And that's what you see. Like, what are the companies or the startups which I am interacting with? You look at their dreams. I have never thought something like that when I was that young. So yes, there is a downside to what you can say social media, but there's also an upside. So I'll always go with the brighter people are picking up the right things from the the internet or scrolling the reels. Not everyone is doing that. Some of them are picking up the right thing and doing a right research and coming up with new technologies, new startups. My only suggestion to this generation would be probably think big and believe in yourself. Because yes, we'll always be there naysayers. You'll fall. You just have to get up again.
Right.
We didn't have that option to fail. We were always told, okay, there's only 3 parts. Either you're a doctor or an engineer or a Fauji. That's it.
Correct.
But the times have changed. Today, you look at it, a youngster is like, he has got so much opportunities and there's so many cross streams.
Right.
Actually, this is the best time in India to be for a youngster.
Sure.
So I'm very hopeful on this.
In fact, I was talking to some of the startup, the founders in the rural economy, in the tier 2, tier 3 cities. And they were speaking about, small girls from villages, they want to be astronomers, not astrologers, astronomers. They want to study astronomy. They want to study economics and AI. So that's fascinating. A twist to the tale that, you have to either become doctor or engineer or a Fauji. And sometimes maybe journalist. Great conversation, Navneet. I'm very thankful.
I'll just add on one more, since you put the women part of it. So even think of it, my co-founder, one of my co-founder is Commander Karthik Gopal. He is also a naval officer. My other co-founder is Dr. Jyotsna Dalal, who is a PhD in microbiology. Whenever was the last time you heard a PhD scholar who has got so much accolades thinking, okay, why not help companies to build and start a fund for themselves?
They are into just research and innovation mostly, and very academic way of living. Yeah.
Yes, but then she has broken the mold and she's coming out and saying, okay, yeah, I have a PhD, so what? Yes, the aspirations have changed today. They're totally different. So it's I don't want to get, typically whenever you say something, it's become political, but it is new India. It is new India. It is a new aspiration. Tier 2, tier 3 cities are to watch out for, because that is where, the actual game lies. I always say India has started after 1983 World Cup. If India has been dominating the cricket in a lot of sphere or a lot of places, it's because Bumrahs and other people who have come out from tier 2, tier 3 cities. And that is where the success stories are going to come out from.
I'm absolutely hopeful, sir. I'm very hopeful that, we will get there. There is also another sector the green energy sector, basically, that we
Yeah.
have a target of achieving net zero by 2070, which is a little later than most European and US, North American countries. But I think it is achievable. Sustainability is something that everybody is looking at. So a lot of, it's a young India. We are there, and yes, there are struggles, but then there are achievements too. So thank you so much for joining us today. I mean, we had great insights. Thank you, viewers, for watching us. That was the Commander Navneet Kaushik. Thank you for joining.